2 weeks to prepare, and what do? We poop the bed. Let's talk about it here on the Sooner or Later Sports Show. Thank y'all for pulling up. I'm your host, Jay. And it's pulling up here on the YouTube channel and listening wherever podcasts are downloaded and listened to. While you're here, please wipe your feet, like, subscribe, rate, review, give us 5 stars. You don't think we deserve it? Go ahead and give us 5 anyway and gift it. So on today's episode of the Sooner or Later Sports Show, we've got a lot of things to talk about, especially some of the sad feelings of another embarrassing Red River. We're going to talk about that and what the hell we need to do next. We're going to dive into this debt I have to pay, and hell, I'm paying it right now as we speak. So Coop's in the door. We're going to start really diving in. Shout out to Prize Picks. Thank you all for sponsoring this live stream. With Prize Picks, the most fun I've had playing daily fantasy sports this NFL season. All you got to do is lock in your lineups, 4 or 5 players, put them bad boys in, and guess what? You are good to go. And even better, what Prize Picks is doing for the people, they're hooking you up $50 instantly whenever you place your first $5 bet. You get it if you win or not, guaranteed. So check out Prize Picks, link in the description below, as well as use the promo code UNFAIR to get that $50 instantly. The best part too, you can play this in Oklahoma. It's 100% legal. I've been playing it for a bit and love it. Coop, I see the smirk on your face. It doesn't look very happy. Believe me when I say, I felt the exact same way. Let's get opening thoughts before we dive into the positional pieces and what the hell we need to do. But I want to know, how you feeling, my man?
Let down. I said after the Tennessee game, I felt like the offense let down the defense and the fan base. And I felt like that we showed out. That entire stadium was just decked out with people who wanted it to put in their part. And I feel like it's also, and I've had some time to, again, that's the good thing about the nice drive home is you get some time to kind of think about stuff, hear other people's conversations. I had late night conversations with a lot of people, and you won't ever hear my thoughts that night. I did my best to stay off the Bird app, just because I didn't want to go crazy. But it's embarrassing. I think George Stoy has said it on their recap. You've now gone without scoring a touchdown in 2 of the past 3 Red River games, and
Yep.
That's ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. And so, it at least in that game, you went in going, not much is going to happen here. Like everybody had hope, this week. You thought that you started seeing some things, but it's just like Tennessee. Texas, as good as the talent that they have on that team, on defense, you're going to show every single glaring issue and weakness is going to come out when somebody has a pulse on defense. And I don't think that stops this coming Saturday, because USC's got a good defense. So, I just feel let down. I feel let down for the fan base. I feel let down because I don't think the attention that has gone into the defense has gone into the offense, and now it is undeniable. But there's so many things wrong. So,
Yeah, the levels of wrong is there. There's levels of issues that we're dealing with. Favorite thing, shout out to BV. I actually liked what he said at the post game. He was disappointed more in the defense than the offense, and I'm 100% with him. We tackled like crap the entire game. Like, it was bad. And what's crazy to me, Coop, is the first quarter was exactly the game that I was hoping for. The first quarter was everything we were supposed to do. We were up 3-0. The defense was showing out. Hell, we had people saying they thought that Quinn Ewers was shook to start the game. He looked hurt. And it's what I kept seeing people say after the first quarter. So I'm sitting here at the sports book. I'm talking to a couple Texas fans, and they're like, man, I really did not think that Quinn was gonna play like this. I thought Quinn was, I was scared that Quinn was not gonna be healthy. And what's funny is I was like, yeah, it kind of looks like he's a little nervous. But then that's when that mind comes in. Let's talk defense first, and we'll dive into the offense last because it's going to be a complete complain fest once we start that. So feel free to drop your grievances in the chat. We are here for you all to let y'all have it, man. I'm not going to even push back on anybody. So I totally can. Fox Moon, I love this question. What was the time of possession in the game? Oklahoma led the time of possession, 32-27. Oh my God. So one component we needed to have, we got, and then we just couldn't. But this leads into this, Coop. Sarkisian went out there and did exactly what you're supposed to do whenever your quarterback is struggling. You adjust, you make changes, and you know what you need to do? Make it easy for your quarterback. He recognized how the defense was playing. He saw what the defense was doing to him. And so he started to dial up a lot of movement. He added extra protection. And he just started dinking and dunking it. The big play that Texas got was the Ryan Wingo yak. He caught it and ran. And what's funny is Texas wanted to go deep the whole game. That was the game plan. Let's put this secondary to work. But then they didn't have to. We just ran it. They just ran down our throat. Weisner had over 100 yards rushing in that game.
13
He averaged
carry.
9 yards a carry. He had like 118 yards on 13 carries. We didn't muddy this game up enough after the fact. That's where the problem comes in. We didn't muddy this game the way we should have. But what's funny is, Coop, guess what our defense efficiency is right now? Give me your best guess.
I don't care.
We're 10th. Our defense is still at freaking 10. Texas averages over 490 yards a game, I believe. We only gave up 409. We also gave them very short fields to be able to do what they were doing. No, the other problem lies in here too, Coop. It's the other thing that bothered me on this. That fumble that we caused at the goal line is when everything changed in this game. That's what it was, man. No hustle, no grind, no push.
It was, I mean, yeah. You are, the team is going down 7-3. Trying to make a little last ditch. Let's tighten it up before halftime. Go for another 3, and we get the first one. And I think at that point, from some of the stuff that I been hearing about, just Brent Venables, this defense is now pushing. That there was people who have made comments that.
Coop, your mic just went down real low. I don't know why. So it's not just me. Okay.
You go ahead. Let me see if
Okay. Yes, we're going to let Coop reset everything up. But no, a lot of players, the defense to me just did not look like they had no grind to them. That hurt. The defense started the game off strong. I mean, the Billy Bowman pick was cool, but it wasn't. They just looked like they had no spark. They looked defeated for like the umpteenth week in a row. They looked like, shoot, we ain't gonna be able to do nothing on the other side of the ball. Because what's bananas is Stutzman had that. I thought Stutzman was going to get that fumble, but you saw he pulled up. He barely ran at the ball. Silas Bowden running across the field, right? I got a touchdown. Then at that point, you're like, Why did you stop running, my boy? What are we doing? That we saw a lot of that. It was so many things that just everything fell apart.
Is this
There we
better
go.
now?
You're back.
Okay.
Much better. You're back.
Sorry. I let Seth Luttrell set up my audio equipment.
Wow. Shots fired.
So, yeah, here we go. I mean, first of all, give it up. Texas did what they. So you come in early, and that offense, like I said, I thought that it was going to be, don't put anything in harm's way. Let's let Quinn get into a little bit. And I think that if you're an offense going forward against this defense, you tell your offense, your quarterback, your running back, guys, we can let things develop because they're not going to put anything on the other side of the ball. And our first two, after the interception and the second possession, we got the ball, within 5 yards of midfield both times. And we miss a field goal. It's just maddening. And I just think that if you do not, so if we're going to turn the ball over with fumbles in the middle of the field, and if we're going to keep on throwing it in harm's way and play with that 20 yards of the line of scrimmage, nobody is going to ever let these young wide receivers have any space at all. If they do not run deep, if you do not take a shot, hell, I am absolutely okay with 2 to 3 interceptions a game if we're trying downfield. Like, I don't care at this point. You have to do it because we were running. There's so much wrong on the offensive side of the ball, and I'm going to say this, and this is going to be the most rant piece that we're talking defense. Let me back up. Brent Venables was making. There was a comment that Brent Venables said to the defense that we need to, in order for us to stay in this game, we need to cause a turnover or to score. That's what he says to the defense.
Yep.
And if that's true, now instead of your defense just playing assignment sound football, now you have guys trying to play hero ball, and they're going to get out of position. And it is going to happen. Because here's what's going to happen, Jay, is now at this point, everybody knows the defense is legitimate. And if you cannot do anything on offense, these guys are going to be absolutely, absolutely worn out. And you're not going to be able to play it all year long. And so, Brent Venables, I think I kind of understand. He has something that he can do with having the conversation with the with the defense and trying to get them jazzed up because that's his side of the ball. But at the same time, like if you put that type of pressure that you have to get turnovers or you have to score on defense, I don't see that as the right way to do this. And it's something that like he did his first go around here. It's something that he did on Clemson. He stayed in at the defense and said, "You guys have to be the difference in this game." It's complementary football. There are 3 phases to the sport, and you cannot be a complete and utter failure on one side of the ball. At this point, Jay, would you not rather have a top 75 defense or maybe even go back to the Lincoln Riley days? Because if you can't score at all on offense but are really great at defense, people are still going to score against you in college football. They're still going to score at some point. So now we've seen 2 powerful offenses who literally just like, listen, we just keep grinding. We have no pressure on us. Tennessee and Texas did not have any pressure on them because they knew that they had nothing was going to happen on the other side of the ball. And when we get into that side of the ball, I think that's where I'll go off on my rant. But this does start with Brent Venables at the very, very top.
Absolutely, 100%. This is on
I
his
was
back.
I was talking with Matt Blackwell, and he shared his thoughts. And I feel it this way: is you cannot. I mean, you absolutely cannot say that some of the stuff that we did in being lackadaisical on NIL for the offensive line and then for the wide receiving and then doing the buddy system and bringing in Latrell and Joe John Finley, you were trying to freaking win a national championship. And that's the whole reason why you came here, was to bring a defensive dominance back to Oklahoma. And then you go out and do those type of hires. That's not how this stuff works.
Nope.
It just isn't. And so now, yes, we still have an uber amount of injuries, a lot of injuries. And that does play a factor in here. But we've now had a healthy offensive line. Let's just call it what it is. Those guys are, at best, good. And not good in all phases, but like good at one thing or the other. When you don't throw the ball downfield, you're never going to have nobody's ever going to loosen up on you. No, it's not going to happen. And until that starts happening, this is going to happen the next week and the next week and the next week and the next week. And I will say this, firing anybody right now in the middle of the season, I don't think that is going to be something that fixes anything. It's not going to be. And if you do it right here in the middle of the season, now you're taking this offense, which really is not good, and you're telling them to learn somebody else's new stuff. And from what I'm seeing now is they can't seem to execute, anything with any consistency. And so, I don't know where to go from here. Like I said, I feel let down. I feel let down as a fan base, and I don't, you are going to have changes at some point this year. And I think that it's going to probably be towards the end of the year, because at that point you let the college football world know, and whoever else may be coming, taking a step down from the NFL or something like that, you need to make a splash higher, because you're going to have to sell belief that you actually mean you mean business to do this. And doing the internal buddy system, connections to Oklahoma. So yeah, I've seen some people saying like, hey, if Lincoln gets fired, you bring him back. We're there as a fan base, really? Everybody hated that dude for the past 3 years. And now people are like, bring Lincoln Riley back as your OC. Like, that's how bad our offense is. So it's almost like coming home and finding out that your wife is a escort in secret, and you drown your sorrows by going and hiring an escort.
Yeah, no.
So
no.
I just don't see how you can give so much thought, effort, and focus on one side of the ball and absolutely just go discount shopping and thrift shopping on the other side. It just doesn't make sense to me.
All right, feel good? That was good? Feeling better? Got it. Got the rant going? Got it. Got some of it out. I understand. I'm giving it, like I said,
the defensive side of the ball, it's not their fault that we freaking lost. Get out of here. But again, what was it in Iron Man 2? The villain guy says, if you can make God bleed, people cease to think that he's God. And that's what he says about Iron Man. And that's now what this defense is everybody knows that the defense is really, really good. But if you could say, hey, listen, they're not going to provide anything on the other side, so you just keep on doing it, you will win eventually. And that's going to happen. So all you got to do is just not make mistakes.
No, I get you there. Shout out to South on Main Arts and Culture for the 10. We really appreciate it. We're going to pause and read this real quick. Really upset. So on the 50-yard line, OU beats Texas. We catch a long corn, fry the sack, and sell it at Fletcher. Seriously, how many years legitimately will it take to come up with something? I don't think that I don't know. It's going to take some time. We're going to need to move into a new era of offense, someone that can carve up some of these SEC defenses. That's going to be the focus. That's what's got to be focused on. I know everybody wants, and I'll talk offense in a minute. I'm still talking defense for now, but the biggest thing right now in the defense and why I, like BV, am disappointed in them is they missed a ton of tackles.
The tackles was bad.
They missed, and that's what they've been good at this year. We upgraded that part, and we were missing tackles left and right. We were missing substantial amounts, and that to me is bothersome because that takes away 100% from what the defense execution is. We weren't filling gaps like we normally do. We weren't getting pressure after Texas added additional protection. It got to the point where Texas was adding protection to make sure Quinn had just enough time to get those short passes to his fourth and fifth option down. They ended up being able to pull those protections because we just weren't getting pressure anymore. The starting point was to protect, get Quinn going, get him grooving, which is what you're supposed to do as an offense and an offensive coordinator. You're supposed to let your quarterback get to grooving, and our defense just did not adjust. They looked defeated. They looked defeated before the game even really got going. That's the bad part. It's go through the first quarter, you do a really good job of, like, okay, we muddied up things. Our offense outperformed their offense in the first quarter. We muddied it up the way we needed to muddy up because I knew it wasn't sustainable. Our defense, then they fell apart. Let's talk offense. I've got a lot to say on it, but first, let me give you a quick word from the sponsor. Prize Picks has been the best, most fun I've had playing daily fantasy sports this football season. The beauty of it is available in Oklahoma and the surrounding states. You can go out there and play. You make your lineups. Like I got 5 here, as you can see. You put those in there. Takes you no time. Put your entry fee in. Submit your lineup. And it's exactly what you want. It's a great time. I've loved it. It's a good way for me to, blow off some steam, especially after a major defeat. And the best part is Prize Picks is going to take care of you all. They are hooking up everyone on the channel and all of my people. Just use the code UNFAIR as you see on the screen. And boom, you'll get $50 bonus after you submitted your first $5 lineup. So go check it out. Prize Picks, daily fantasy sports made easy. $5, play $5 to get $50 back. So put in your lineups more or less on the projected stats and enjoy yourself. So check them out, Prize Picks. Daily fantasy sports made easy. Coop, we've got, let me see a couple of these. Oh, you Mike, get ready for the same next year. Thanks for the $10. We really appreciate that. I don't see that happening, but I actually see there's going to be some changes. Furry Murray, thanks for the 10. See all your noise talk, blah, blah, blah. Heisman level quarterback mindset like Lincoln. OU's offense ain't the problem. We got to be all right. Yeah. For me, the offense, I said it before, we're going to move away from Latrell. It's going to be after what you're going to have to do. You're going to have to get a body on the Latrell train moving forward. I know why they did it. I know who signed off on it. I know why the purpose of it and why it went down. But that's not what I expected after 2 weeks of prep. But I'm going to say this, and this is going to be a controversial take, and a lot of you will not like it. There was a lot of new offense ran. The play calling was not terrible. We did not execute on any of the new stuff that was offered. We tried to run a speed option with the quarterback that isn't a speed option guy. We ran a little bit of 2-back sets and do some shovel pass stuff that just wasn't prepared for a freshman quarterback to do. Even better on that, Coop. We didn't even try to really throw the ball deep, even when we had the time to do it. The passing protection wasn't terrible. It wasn't great. It wasn't terrible. It was one of those that if you dink and dunk properly, you're going to get the defense to back off of some of their pressure. Or you'll be able to read when they're going to do the blitzes, and you can throw a quick slant, get rid of the ball. Gavin Sawchuk was open a few times, and so was Javante Barnes on some quick checkdowns. But we never got to that part of the progressions, and it was because the progressions were moving slow. A lot of the plays required too much time to develop. But I saw Sawchuk wide open on a real wheel route. You'll see it. There's a few people I think the snaps guys are going to break down the plays, and they're going to show you all the open stuff. I saw Petaway open a couple of times, not only across the middle, but on the outside. I saw Sharp get open a couple of times across the middle. And then when we did throw it to him, we made some catches and did it. We weren't leveraging getting rid of the ball quickly at all. At all. That's what it was for me. Yes, complain about the play calling. I totally understand the grievances that everybody has on that. I watched the plays. I went back and rewatched, and I looked. I'm like, this dude's wide open there. That guy's wide open there. He's open.
I saw it live, and a lot of people in the stands saw it live. And that was the biggest complaint in the stands was
he's open.
Another one. And, you know, sometimes people were like freaking out because sometimes, yes, a guy's running wide open, but running back doesn't get the right chip that he's supposed to before he goes out in the flat because he's too – it's just undisciplined. And it literally looks like there's not an urgency on the offense for discipline. And so yeah, do I think that next year can be better? Yes, I do think next year can be better because, again, you're running 2 or 3 wide receivers out there at a time, right? Your first 5 are all out. Doesn't look like that's going to change anytime soon. Adding one dude back in isn't going to help. But here's the thing is Purdue. And for everybody yelling for Graham Harrell to come here, Graham Harrell just got fired from Purdue. So everybody sees, more air raid stuff. That's not an answer because Purdue went out and threw out 49 yesterday, the week after they fired him.
Right afterwards.
So does that make sense? Does that make sense to everybody? So there needs to be an actual national search on offense. But I just say this is when you have the offensive line, those guys just are not good. And guys that I thought...
I don't know, man. There were a lot of protection there that he had time. Real quick, Cozy, thanks for the $2. We appreciate it. OU identical to that 2022 Clemson team. You're probably right. But I saw they had protection. There was open dudes. It was more get rid of the ball type things to me. And I get you don't feel like the offensive line was good. I don't think that they were bad.
No, they weren't bad. They just weren't good. It was
and I think that there was perfect opportunities to get rid of the ball and actually do something. It was just everything top to bottom was just brutal. Just brutal.
You're still asking
executing on the play.
You're still asking a true freshman who, when it's not consistently on a certain level, he's going to get the yips. But it also doesn't look like he's willing to make a mistake. And at this point, I'd rather make a mistake downfield. And so if you're coming in here and you're saying, like, we told you OU was going to go 0-3 in the conference, listen, man, this offense sucks, and you look right, but you were just trying to be a troll. Like, OU doesn't look good on offense because there's been, like, nothing that you could hang your hat on this entire year on offense. You can't run the ball. And then the moment that you get these long runs, you cough it up. And then there's no desire to go downfield at all. It's just more of the same. So what you're going to have to see is you're going to have something to where you can find confidence in something. Like, you got to find somewhere. What did I say after Tennessee? It was identity. Like, what is the identity of this offense? And I think right now that needs to be the rallying cry is because will they look better against South Carolina? I'm going to have to see it before I start thinking it's going to happen. Because
Yeah. Go ahead.
If I tell you that these are the things that are going to happen on offense against South Carolina, I'm making shit up at this point, Jay.
Because you have no clue what's going to happen.
None. Now, the only bright spot for me on offense is Zion Kearney. Zion Kearney, I think he led the team in receptions.
Yeah, he had 4 catches for 45 yards. I thought it was good that we got to see him actually make some catches. So I totally understand that. I like that we got him actually going. I can't think how many snaps he had. And you know what worked, Coop? Real quick, this is a great question here. Coop, how many times did we even throw the ball? You know how many times we threw the ball? 30 times. 30? We threw the ball 30 times. We dropped back to throw the ball 30 times. 19 for 30. Not a bad percentage. It was only 4.9 yards per pass, and we never went anything for the most part deep. And truth is right. What's crazy is y'all were running the ball. That outside zone worked.
The outside zone worked, and here's what was lighting us up is we came out and we would run the ball. And here's another thing is where I was talking about the discipline is you run the ball, you get good yardage. Then you run the ball again and you get good yardage. And then you line up and you get a penalty. And I think that the Scoop guys were saying on their post-game deal is like the moment that you get a penalty on offense, it almost feels like there's zero chance that you're going to score that drive. Because getting 10 is hard. Getting 15 or 20, like help me Jesus. But it just looks like on offense they're scared to make a mistake. And then when a mistake happens, it's deflating because you've seen such little success all year long. And if I go in here and I say Hawkins threw for 148, Quinn threw for 199. If you would have told me we lead time of possession and Quinn Ewers throws for 199 yards to start this before the game started, I would have had a smile on my face.
20 for 29, 199, 6.9 yards, a pass, a touchdown, an interception. Quinn was just managing the game. And that's no shade on Quinn whatsoever. But that's what you're supposed to do when you're going up against a defense that you're wondering about, right? That's not bad. That's exactly what you're supposed to do. Sarkisian's smart. He recognized, hey, man, we're going to run down their throat. We're going to have to run it. We haven't established a run. They're not playing to stop the run this game because we haven't been running very well this year. So what we're going to do, we're going to try to figure out running the ball, but we're going to get Quinn time to throw quick passes the way that what he's really good at. They scripted that beautifully. That's what you're supposed to do. That's what we did not do. Thank you, John Kennedy, for the $4.99. We greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much. Texas finished the game, 177 rushing yards, 5.9 yards a carry. Overall, 3 touchdowns. But the crazy one is Silas Bowden got counted for a touchdown because he picked up a fumble in the end zone. Quinchavion Weisner ate us alive. 13 carries, 118 yards. With the 43 was a long. He ran the 36-yarder that we caused the fumble on. It literally was like, look at the way that they were playing. Texas played that bad boy smart. We were outcoached on that part too.
Fair.
Offense-wise, that's why you lose your top 5 wide receivers. You're playing all your young guys who are all coming back from injuries as well. Remember, Brennan was dealing with some stuff last year. I think he had a concussion in the bowl game, but he dealt with some stuff last year with his hamstring. J.J. Hester's been out 2 years. He's just now coming back. So we started getting guys that was getting themselves in a groove. Then we didn't use them. So then you started playing the freshmen. Like Petaway was dealing with some stuff. We've just hit we literally are the 2009 Sooners. Like everything about it. 09 Sooners, for those that are uninitiated, if you don't remember, Sam Bradford gets hurt right before the BYU game. During the BYU game, literally the first possession. I'm sitting in the stands in Jerry Circus next to some guys from BYU. They're excited because they're celebrating their 25th anniversary of their national championship, their silver anniversary. And I'm just like, what? It's been that long? That's crazy. Then they go out there and punch us in the throat. Take out Sam. Landry Jones comes in, and the team just never is the same there. Now, that team finished 8-4. got lucky. I don't know how if there's a path there, of course, but we just got to start buckling down. But this is the thing that's going to make a lot of people mad. And real quick to Coop, tell your pops I said happy birthday. Shout out to him. Shout out to your dad. Tell him happy birthday. I got to find the post. I saw it pop up a second ago, but then I lost it. Yeah, tell you happy birthday. Feel bad that he had to deal with that. But so let's talk about what's next, Coop. What do we think we should
before
do?
do that?
Go ahead.
Before they do that, I do want to give a shout out. So I'm downtown, right? Going to the fair, and I go to Starbucks, and I meet a crew, and I had to write down their names because I was bad. But Kent, Chelsea, and a fella who came from Tokyo last night. His first football game was that game.
Nice.
He's never seen a football game before, and
that was a terrible product for him to see out of us.
Yeah, fella named Daiki, and man, I just, you guys, thanks for coming up and having a conversation. It was pretty fun. I will say this is, I enjoy this, but as a fan base, guys, I want us to do one thing. Let's focus on us for a little bit, okay? Instead of talking trash on other teams and everything like that, we need to really focus in on this stuff. And again, I got to give last shout for Trey Wisner, because they found something on film, and when they run that outside zone, that stretch play, they knew to get to the outside and continue to put the pressure on the linebackers running to the sideline, and the defensive backs running out to the sideline. And so they found something in that, and it was working really, really well. It was the first time that I saw anybody run a consecutive play that was where they got good, and also the touchdown to Gunnar Helm. That was a beautiful, beautiful play call. I said that Gunnar Helm was the leading receiver against Michigan, a really, really tight defense, and he was the leading receiver this week. And so, yeah, Sark did a great job at that stuff. And again, this defense is good. This defense is very good, but it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard for them to continue to be anything close to elite if they're out there all the time. And you can't play, when they talk about baseball in an aspect of like a pitcher can go out and throw 120 pitches if there's not a lot of high stress pitches. But if you're always pitching with a guy on third base or a guy in running, scoring position with one out or no outs, that's a higher stress, pitch. And so it takes a bigger toll in the body. And that's what's happening to this defense is they are absolutely out there thinking that, and I think that's with RSJ running late on the field. Texas snaps the ball. He's not even in position. Wisner goes right past him. And that's just tough thing. So it is going to have to be a deal to where on offense, Jay, I think going forward was what you were trying to ask is.
Yeah, no, don't even worry about that.
Let's find something to hang your hat on.
Yeah, right now it's all about moving forward. We're going to figure out what we're going to do to get better and fix all the problems that we have on the offensive side and fix the mental morale and the mental play of what our defense has. They don't play like they're happy. They play like they're upset. They play like they think that things are not going to go very well. Then here's something. I don't have silver linings from this game. I don't. Even though there are. When I went back and rewatched, there's a lot, and even our resident Texas fan, who I'm wearing this shirt for, I lost the bet to him. I told him I would wear it on my stream on this one. Told him I would wear it here because I only make bets for my own show. I don't do it for other ones. Come on now, Truth. You should know that. You was just trolling me, and I know that, but I'm going to make sure that you understand that I know that you were trolling me. No need to. My day was bad enough. I don't pile on y'all. You can at least give me that grace, my boy. At least give me that grace. But anyway, He pointed out we weren't running bad. And those were the new wrinkles that you did see in the play call. That was the new stuff you did see. Those multiple types of outside zones that we ran. That was the new wrinkles you saw, and guess what? We saw success. Your problem is that then at that point, all you got to do is stack the box and blitz in certain spots, which this is like for real on this part. The genius on PK on his defense was he had Anthony Hill spying Hawkins the entire game. And what he would do is that Hill's job, and this is my interpretation, I could be 100% wrong, but it just looked like this to me. Find the hole that Hawkins can run through, fill it.
And be there.
That's it. And just be there. And he did it every time. Every single time. And it looked like Hawkins got to a one read and run mentality because he was, feel like he's running for his life. But when he had time, he's sitting there and then he decides he's going to run. Instead of Hill standing there and waiting for him to run like, some spots would traditionally do, he found the hole and then he went and filled it. And then he started to go after the quarterback, which makes it even tougher. You see what I'm saying? That's what made it even tougher. That was perfect. It was perfect defense. And shout out to the homie, Fanatic Perspectives. My boy Steven talks a bunch of noise. But he pointed this out. And I think this is where I don't think our offensive staff took in consideration. Coop, who did Texas play before they played us?
Nobody.
No. Who did they play before? The actual game, not bye week, but who did they play before us?
The Mississippi State.
Okay, so they play Mississippi State. Who's their quarterback right now? Do you know?
It is Van Buren.
Freshman Michael Van Buren with the head coach of Jeff Lebby. That literally was the perfect script to watch for us. Since we were implementing a lot of Lebby's stuff for Jackson Arnold, and of course we were doing that with, Michael Hawkins, you have to. They basically took the game plan that they saw with Michael Van Buren, and they said, watch out for that for him, as well as what you've seen with Jalen Milroe. They just combined both of that and said, he's going to tuck and run. He's fast enough to do it, but what you need to do is fill the gap and make him work for it. They did all of that. It was masterful on the defensive side.
Another cross-sport analogy. In high school, if you go with your right hand in basketball and you go to your right every single time, and you are just dominant at it, but your left is kind of eh. When you get to upper end college basketball, or NBA, you better learn how to go to your left, because if you can't go to your left, then people will push you where they want you to go. Now they're dictating your play. And that's another thing, is that's why I want to find out where we have this opportunity to find something that you work on, because it's I do not think that I think that if you have all of our wide receivers out there, this thing looks different. How different, I don't know. But when it's been play calling, offensive coordinator, quarterbacks shifting, offensive line injuries, wide receiver injuries, it's hard to find your starting point. Where is our launch point from just an offensive side of the ball? And I think that on the offensive side of the ball, I'm with everybody in the chat, I don't know if there is a person on the offensive side of the ball right now that is exempt from major scrutiny. And I mean, I said it, I think, a couple weeks ago, that at this point, I mean, you have a job interview for the rest of the year. And it's not for us at this point. You got to show somebody that, because I don't think that this is redeemable from a coaching standpoint, and talent evaluations too. We've seen way too much of this at this point. There's everybody points at Ryan Williams on Alabama and says, "Hey, a freshman can be a big piece." Yes,
but think about it this way:
when there's other people around him, but when you have a bunch of brand new starters out there who have never played on this team together, with a freshman quarterback, with offensive line injuries, Yeah, then it's hard to rely on that. So I don't want to burn any of the freshmen yet because that just seems silly. But
It's not fair to them right now, and they weren't running with the ones like a Ryan Williams, a Ryan Wingo, a Cam Coleman, a Jeremiah Smith. None of them were running with the ones immediately. We had 5 dudes that were supposed to have been it, and none of them are playing now. So no, that's no excuse. It's just tough. He's gonna have to, and at this point, this is exactly what I'm thinking that BB's gonna have to micromanage the offense moving forward. Leave Zach Alley alone.
yeah, let him take care of everything.
I think Alley is fine. Right? Like, our defense is better than last year's defense, and our offense is non-existent. That's what's crazy to me. Even in the raw numbers, we're still moving up out of the hundreds on defense. We're actually in the 70s and 40s, something that we haven't seen. And even as with the raw numbers, efficiency was still 10. Zach Alley is fine. He makes offensive coordinators think, and I like that. BV needs to go micromanage the offense moving forward. I know that he's a defensive guy at heart, and that's what he hangs his hat on. And I agree with him that he needs to, that our defense should have played better, should have tackled better. That's things they'll work on now. And you're right. And Coop, you said this, and this was probably one point that I didn't think about, but I love that you made. BV basically putting all the weight on the defense like that at this point is very much unfair. And you can tell that they're not about that life. It's not that they're not good enough to do it. They're like, no.
Yeah,
He's just like, no, it's not. They're not. That they should not have to carry the load this much at all like that. They shouldn't have to.
No, because you're going to see a lot of soft tissue and other situations will start happening. These guys are not going to continue to kill themselves if there's no reason. Again, we're not going to. You keep. Right now, if you're an opposing offense, you say, "Hey, we get to 10, we're good."
Yep. That's it. So. That's it, right? And no, Blake, he hasn't lost a locker room or, a fan base. He lost a fan base when he got hired. But he's not a lot of the fan base, not everybody. A lot of you also recognize that he's exactly what you want. You want someone that's going to have that intense mentality and the one that parents actually love. That helps a lot with recruiting. A lot of people don't understand, not to compare the two, but Nick Saban was beloved by parents. He was beloved as a recruiter. That's the part that you also have to do. He does very good with the people part. He also has a problem to where he pushes everybody too much too. So he's going to have to balance that. You got to do that. Now, this is funny. Seth, thanks for the $2. We really appreciate it. Mark Mangino's not doing anything right now. I don't know if anybody wants to touch the Mangino situation after, the quote-unquote potential issues he had with students. Not sure if you want to touch that. But, hey, that's kind of what that is. Coop, as we're wrapping things up, man, I appreciate everybody being in here. Shout out to our partner, Prize Picks, for sponsoring the show. If there's anything I want to go back to, is really talking about, let's put it this way. I know everybody wants the OC fired. I am 100% there with you. But listen to me here. When Heupel got fired, Heupel was an OC for like 3 years. He had 3 or 4 years. He was time. Mike Stoops was DC for at least a year and some change before he got fired for 6 games into the season. Because of the hand that was dealt, they're not going to just fire him not only mid-season, especially because you're not hiring anybody right now. You're not. There's no one to hire. Put it this way, not no one to hire. No one that you guys want can get hired right now. Nobody's leaving their current teams to take a job right now. December, yes. October, not a chance. You're not going to get anybody to leave their jobs right now. As much as I know y'all would love and, throw as much money as possible. No, it's not possible. Nobody does that. Nobody does it. That's why you don't hear about it. Like, I've heard people throw out NFL names, and I'm cracking up. I'm like, you think they're going to leave an NFL job right now with, like, no real work? I mean, they work hard, but they get off seasons. That's why you see college coaches trying to go to the NFL. They don't have the recruiting problems. They go through, they do their job when players come through, and they're done. Your problem is you gotta start vetting out doing a national search. And I'm telling y'all right now, in my mind, they're doing that right now. They've already begun the research. They've already hired a firm. They're sending people out. They're getting fillers. They're watching film. They're finding the next one. They're doing it now. But it's gonna take the rest of the season. That's how it works. Well, they're going to give him the full year because of the cards that he was dealt.
And nobody's going to go, well, hold on a second. Your top 5 receivers are injured. Your tool bag is empty, and you want me to come in and fix it? Like, nobody's going to take that. Right. They're going to want to. But again, I do say that this is the conversation. These conversations are going to heat up into November, December, because you need that for the recruiting standpoint. It's going to be very, very big, for that to happen. And I think that this, I've heard it and seen it in the chat, and I've seen it in in Twitter. But this offensive hire, and moving forward with the offense, this is going to determine BV's entire tenure here. And the first one could go south, the second one cannot.
Right. If y'all want a good one, you're going to have to wait till December.
Yeah.
You can put a Band-Aid on it and try to find somebody right now. Look, I've taught the Graham Harrell piece. I understand that. I'd bring him in as an analyst just because I saw what he did at North Texas and what he did at USC. He had some good offenses there. He sucked at Purdue. He was bad. Furry Murray, thanks, man, for the $2. Dang, can BV and Seth get a pass with 5 receivers out? And you are one of the many people that are not giving him a pass, my boy. You're not. That's the problem. You're not. Many of the people aren't going to give him the pass. And I understand if nobody wants to give him a pass. My point is, again, as I continue to reemphasize, they're not, because of the cards that he's dealt, he's going to get the rest of the season. He's just going to have to get off of, he's going to stop being stubborn. It feels like he's being more stubborn than anything. He's going to stop being stubborn. He's going to have to open it up. But I would love to bring an analyst in, another offensive mind analyst. I mean, I wouldn't mind Graham Harrell coming in as an analyst. He's former Leach. Just to be around and give, hey, this is a good way to do things. And he's actually the one that works with the quarterbacks. No. So if everybody's complaining about they like the quarterbacks to be fired, he's the one actually working with the quarterbacks right now. Just FYI. A lot of people don't get that part. He is working with the quarterbacks. That's the beauty of that new rule. Remember that new rule that came out where like analysts can actually be on the field and they can actually participate? Yeah, Kevin Johns is working. He ain't just sitting around. He's working. Now at this point, it appears that we need to let him probably take a little bit more command, just so that we can adjust our mindset and hopefully we can adjust our expectations. I don't know. We'll see what BV says later this week, but. And Truth, thank you for saying this, because I literally get a message once a day. How many recruits are we losing on this one? Recruits that have already bought in to BV and this school, they look at it the exact same way. This wouldn't happen if I was there, and they're ready to go out there and take somebody's job. That is what majority of these players have said, and I know people that have talked to recruits, and that's exactly what's coming out of their mouth. Yeah, I want to get in there so I can take this job. Oh, you're saying I can play as a freshman and I can help propel us again? I would love to be a savior of this school. Boom, put me in. Sign me up.
Yeah,
So you're going to be surprised at them sticking around. I know Fasusi's probably thinking that now. He's like, shoot, I'm about to be, I really can't start. Because he knows how hard-nosed beating Bo is. But he's looking at that like, wait, y'all for real? I have a chance to start? Oh, I'm going to walk in there and start taking some spots. Him and Fogier. That's exactly what it is.
That's so we'll see. I mean, again, I think that you're going to hear, if you want to hear any fired up Brent Venables and you want to hear him going crazy against people, it ain't going to happen. He's not going to go out there and light up everybody. Nobody wants to come work for somebody like that who's going to get just tossed under the bus. You've seen guys be Benji, hook 'em horns, buddy. There you go. But here's the thing, man, is Texas did what they were supposed to do. They come out there
$5, Ben.
And they they won the game. Now, I will say this, Texas fans, the Baker Mayfield thing and the planting the flag, like,
that was weird. I could understand if they did Stutzman. I totally could have got it if they did it with Stutzman's jersey. That would have made sense. I would have gotten it if they would have went ahead and bought the shirt and did it to the shirt. That to me would have been better.
Yeah.
That would have been better.
It would have been about as relevant as you guys grabbing one of this shirt and doing it. Like, I'm a little confused on that.
Please do my shirt. Please do that. And make sure you let them know where to find it too. That way, we can get more of those sales going out the door. But no, that's true, Coop.
Baker's
said, not the one.
Baker said living rent free for 10 years now.
That's exactly what he said. It's funny, because
I was really confused by that. So that's the only one where I'm like, because they were showing that, and we were out at the Magnolia Beer Garden, and Texas
really
fans,
nice, by the way.
That's where I spent quite a few minutes out there, and I was talking with a friend's friend, and I had a few beverages on the house for about 3 hours. So
that's a blessing.
But I will say this is, what I'll say is, when that happened, they showed that, and one of the Texas fans was like, well, that doesn't really make sense. And so I thought, man, somebody had an idea, they rolled with it, but yeah, it's something else. Do it something else. If you would have had a Stutzman shirt or something like that, that'd have made a little bit more sense. But hey, congratulations on the win, and guess what? Back to work, because both of us we got a gap to close, and now you guys got Georgia, and so
yeah, you're right, Midland. It is. The shirt is. But hey, I told Truth I would do it on the live stream. I hold up my end of the bargain of the bet. I got to be careful making bets. I got to make sure these people back up my bets for me. Come on, Sooners, win for me, so I don't have to do, bets like this. Oh man! All right. Coop, go time with family. Now it's time for me to actually go to work, which is even more hilarious since I'm traveling. But thank y'all pulling up. Truth, we'll do this bet again next year. Don't worry. I'm going to find a way to be able to post. You're going to have to send me a picture in the shirt when we beat y'all next year so that I can post it on the show and let people know that you're rocking it. But no, it's all friendly when it comes to that. I know good people when I see good people. But thank y'all for pulling up. Shout out to Prize Picks for hooking us up. Again, Prize Picks, some of the best, most fun I've had with daily fantasy sports. It's available in Oklahoma. You can, you can check them out. Link is in the description below, as well as, in the description below. Use our promo code UNFAIR, and you'll get $50 after you place your first $5 bet. All new people. Check them out. Have fun. I'm going to go to work. Coop, for myself, we will chop it up with y'all later this week. We'll be back live again, and we'll start talking about OCs, I guess. We can start looking at lists. Darn you people. We'll talk to you guys. Peace.